Good morning. It's Saturday, about 5:15 in the morning. I'm in Phoenix right now, and I gotta head home. Let's talk about two things. One is travel, fitness. The other is about things that you face when you're fat. Now, first of all, the things you face when you're fat, these aren't things I'm looking for sympathy on. They're just realities. And I want to share some of them. Travel presents unique challenges for fitness, at least for me it does. So those of you who've traveled very much, you'll understand when I say I did my final walk through the hotel room, and then I'll do my final walkthrough just before I walk out the door. With travel, there's a couple challenges that we face, and one is workouts. Here, I'm going to have a hotel workout, which I did, and I brought resistance bands so that I'd have some resistance workouts I could do. And I'm working with a health coach, and she was awesome and got me some hotel workouts. But I planned on doing cardio in the pool. And in traveling, again, you don't have control over everything, and the pool was open for part of the time I was here, and it was closed on random days. You can just walk for cardio, John. That's what I hear you saying. Problem is, I'm in Phoenix, and those days where I couldn't use the pool, it was 104 degrees. I'll figure out what that is in Fahrenheit and post it here somewhere. But 104 degrees, and yes, it's a dry heat, but it's still 104 degrees. And the problem I have with the dry heat here is, even though I'm inside of buildings most of the day for doing the work I was doing, the amount of water I have to drink to stay hydrated just normally is phenomenal. So I wasn't going to go out and walk in temperatures where I felt that I could do myself a damage. But I did get most of the workouts in. I have one I owe, so I'm going to make it up when I get to Houston and land. Get home, I'll make up my workout this evening. The other big thing on travel is food. Since I don't have a kitchen, I did have a refrigerator, so there's some things I can do. Like I'd go to the grocery store and buy a bunch of hard-boiled eggs and salad kits. And that helped. But there's still a lot of sodium in the food that I had to buy while I was here. I'm sure there's a lot of sugar in that food. I'm not afraid of fat. I try to do a lower carbs, not necessarily keto, but I just try to keep the carbs down. And I can tell you a lot of that food was higher carbs than I wanted, and I know there had to be sugar in it. And then there's the question of the fat itself. What was the quality of the fat? When I say I'm not afraid of fat, I'm talking about healthy fats, good fats, avocado, olive oil, things like that. Egg yolks don't scare me. But I still came in on a calorie count. Now, here's the other issue with food that is less obvious. And that thing is quantity of food. Getting the right amount of food. Last night I entered my food into MyFitnessPal, not sponsored, but it's a free app on my phone that I can track calories. At the end of the day, I was about 500 calories short of my max calorie for the day, or the ideal calorie for the day. But I wasn't really hungry, and it didn't matter because there was no way for me to get another 500 calories of clean food. Well, there were, but it was way more effort than I was going to put into it because it was late. I was ready to go to bed. So I get up this morning and I am hungry. And I mean, I'm hungry right now. Really hungry. Now, one of my problems and one of the reasons that weight loss is difficult for me, is that I don't deal with hunger well. I don't know why exactly. It's like I know I won't starve to death even if I don't eat for several days right now. But I do not deal with that feeling of hunger very well. And when I look back, when I was traveling a lot more than I do now for work, I used to eat to prevent being hungry. And I mean to prevent from ever being hungry. So at night, I would have a nice heavy meal so that in the morning, if I couldn't get breakfast right away, it's no big deal because I wasn't hungry yet. And I would eat breakfast before I was hungry so that I wouldn't feel that hunger. And the same thing with lunch. And so it's an easy way to take in a lot of extra calories. But last night, I didn't. Now I'm hungry. I don't like this feeling. It really is one of those ones that I have to learn to deal with and learn to be okay with. But on the road, that makes it, I face hunger a lot more than I do at home. Because at home, I'll have the food, I can eat a couple boiled eggs, or I can get some clean calories if I'm 500 short. Not that I would have to necessarily hit my maximum calorie count, but that 500 calories makes a big difference the next morning. So that's just one more travel issue when it comes to trying to lose weight. But I flew back to Houston, and I came to my favorite restaurant because they don't have any food ready at the house, and I got here before they're open. So I'm sitting outside kind of waiting for, I know the head of house, and he said he'll be here shortly. So while I'm waiting, I just thought I'd talk about a few things, if you can hear me over the roof noise. I want to be clear though, I'm not talking about these things for sympathy. I just want to identify with other people who are fat, obese, overweight, whatever they want to call themselves. One of the first ones is, will a 4X fit? You go to buy clothes, especially shirts. I'm tall I have a very long torso. So not only do I need wide, but I need long. And so a 4X may not fit me if it's not long enough. And that's kind of a thing you got to face. Another is your friends looking at you and asking if you can walk 3 or 4 more blocks to the restaurant. And that bothers me a little bit, not because they're wrong, because that's a legitimate question. Can you walk another 4 blocks since this restaurant is closed? That's because of choices I made that they have to ask that question. And it comes from a place of concern. It's not a place to shame or make me feel bad. But when you realize, oh yeah, I'm the person that will slow the group down because I'm fat. Yeah. And so that's where I'm going to end this video. I actually was going to shoot a bunch more, but I realized I was starting on a new topic. And I'll include that in future videos. So those are my thoughts on traveling and being fat. Remember that I love you. Take care of yourself. Rock on.